Here's the story of Mr. and Mrs. Tripp. Mr. and Mrs. Tripp embarked on a journey, and just to make sure that nothing would get in their way, they made several plans. They had extra gas in the trunk, they had flare torches for if they needed help, they had a spare tire, they had every kind of backup you can think of. They made plans because they were determined that nothing was going to get in their way of enjoying this trip. So they packed everything and put it in their trunk, and they set about on their journey. But life happens, because life always happens, and just when they got to the middle of nowhere, they ran out of gas. But not to be afraid, because yay, they have gas in the trunk, right? So they pulled over to the side of the road and stepped out of the car and went to open the trunk, but the trunk wouldn't open. Why? I can't think of a reason why the trunk wouldn't open, because they had the key and they could operate the trunk, but for some reason it wouldn't open. I guess it was jammed or something. So what were they to do? They made plans, but they just didn't have access to the plans that they made. And this is what we're going to be spending time going over. How are we ensuring that the plans that we are making can work for us? So let's jump right in. Welcome to The Stranding, a space dedicated to sharing information for how we can safeguard our family's continuity. On here, we talk about continuity planning, estate planning, emergency planning, and building resilience to help us navigate whatever life experiences we encounter. If you're yet to, subscribe to the channel so you'll continually receive information how to keep you and your loved ones from being stranded. When it comes to continuity planning, an important component is access. Accessibility. What exactly does it mean for something to be accessible? It means that you are able to reach that thing. You are able to interact with that thing. So, accessibility is of grave importance when you've made plans. Now let's actually go over some facts to help us understand the magnitude of what accessibility is. In research published by the National Institute of Health, they shared on there that during medical emergencies, delays in assessing medical history can lead to treatment errors and poor outcomes. Basically what you're saying is, if you don't have information about the patient, they could have delays in administering the treatment that they need, or because they don't have information, they make some judgments that are not in the favor of that patient. The American Bar Association also shared that without accessible legal documents, such as powers of attorney, families may face substantial court delays before making financial or medical decisions. Also, think about it. You have your loved one on the line, and just because you don't have the right legal documents, you can't make the decisions that are needed to help that individual. Now, something related to businesses, because we know many families also run businesses on the side. According to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, nearly 40% of businesses never reopen after a disaster, and this is due to a lack of preparedness and access to critical records. Basically, as a business owner, whatever things affect my business also spills over to affect my family. So if we suffer a disaster, and if I have not made the best plans in place, my chance of reopening is very, very bleak. So access to the right information at the right time is very, very critical and very important when we talk about continuity planning. Now, you've probably heard me say this before, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it, and this is my firm belief. When families face undesirable life events, they should only agonize over one thing, not two things, because the second thing is avoidable. Families should only agonize over the experience that they're going through, the illness or the disaster or the demise of their loved one, but they should not also be over how to carry on. Where should we find documents? Where should we find the resources? Where should we find information? How should we access stuff? Because those things could have been planned for. Provisions could have been put in place before that event happened. So if you don't take anything from any of my videos or any of the information I share, bear this in mind. You don't have to agonize over two things. Your loved ones do not have to agonize over two things. Spare them the trouble of the second thing, because one thing is hard to deal with enough. The events that the family is going through is hardly bearable on its own, let alone you tack on the problem of having to find out resources and find out things that they need, because you can make plans for that. So let's make the plans. And that's why it's important that we have these discussions now and ensure that even though we are making plans, we also want to ensure accessibility to these plans. Now I'm going to paint you some scenarios about why accessibility is important. The mother of the home is rushed to the hospital, and of course, you get to the hospital, they're going to ask questions about medical history, and they're asking the husband about her medical history, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know her allergies or the medications she's taking or phenotype and other things like that. What do you think the hospital is going to do? They're going to make decisions based on the minimal information that they have, and meaning they would also delay some other treatments that she probably should be receiving. that can prove to be detrimental to her life and to the family. Another scenario is in the case of disaster, maybe flash floods or fire and all that. If the family has not put plans in place to ensure that they would always have access to their resources, if they've not done these things and the disaster comes and their documents are swept away and burnt up and whatever it is, or they have to evacuate and go, it means they would not have access to the resources that they need. Your files, your records, your certificates, everything, your family recipes and traditions and stories, everything that's of importance to you just gone like that because you have not done the work to ensure that these resources would always be accessible to you. Another scenario that then comes to mind also is the event of passing on of a loved one. And if this happens to be the individual who has always managed the affairs of the home, this can be a problem. So bills start to arrive and accounts start getting locked. You don't have information about how to run the home. You don't have access to the insurance policy or the beneficiary policies. You don't even have passwords to manage accounts and other things. Everything just comes crashing down on the family. That surviving spouse would be grieving, but also have to investigate and run around at the same time. And all of this, like I said, could have been avoided. So accessibility is of grave importance, and it is crucial that we spend the time to not just make plans, but to secure accessibility to these plans that we've made. So what exactly does having accessibility look like, or what does creating accessibility look like in terms of our daily living or continuity planning? The very first thing is think about your documents. Instead of having your documents all over the place, in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, under the cabinet, whatever, have your documents in a central location. Have a centralized location for your documents. Now, gone are the days of storing documents under your mattresses. Please don't do that. It's not safe. In the description section, I'm going to leave a link to a file organizer that we use in my home. It is tamper-proof, meaning it is fireproof and waterproof and theft-proof, and it just provides an extra layer of security as against you just having your documents laying around in a file. The next thing that comes to mind when you think of granting access is, yes, you have your documents in a centralized location, but what if people don't know? So you also need to share location with trusted individuals. Highlight trusted, because not everybody should know where your stuff is kept. So if you're running a two-parent home, you want to ensure that your spouse knows where the documents are stored. If you are a single parent and you have minors, then you would be leaning on a trusted friend or relative to know where documents are kept. Now, in the case that you have adults as children, then your children should know, or at least one of your children should know, where your documents are kept. So a trusted individual is the highlight here. Next, we think of passwords. We all have our online presence, your utilities, your finances, your medicals, everything. You have an account online for these things. So you also want to ensure that passwords are accessible by your loved ones. Again, not everybody should have this, but your loved ones should know how to find your passwords when needed. Now, don't go walking around with pen and paper writing down your password because Kemi said so, because that's not just ideal. You want to use a password manager. I use a system called 1Password, and this is not sponsored, but here's a call out to 1Password. You might as well sponsor this video. Yeah, but I use a system called 1Password, and my hubby and I, we have accounts set on there where we have shared our passwords. So he has access to stuff I have access to, and I have access to stuff that he has access to. Of course, we run a trust system where we're not just going looking into each other's accounts if we don't need it. But in the event that something happens to either of us, we have access to retrieving passwords, to doing the things that are needed for the continuity of our families. Now, you want to create summaries. In the event of an emergency, you don't have time flipping through documents, several pages of documents. You want to have a summary of your essentials. So you want to have a medical summary or a financial summary, just something, a single pager, which is securely stored and location shared, something that just helps people to pick a document and get the information that is needed to save that situation or that event that they are dealing with. Now, you also must ensure that you are updating your documents from time to time. What we had 5 years ago might not be relevant now. So you also want to ensure that your documents are updated. If you've made legal provisions, Go over it again with your lawyer, with your professional team, and ensure that what is captured is what is still relevant to your family today. Now, all this talk about accessibility might seem like you are exposing yourself, but there are two instances here. Instance one is you can hoard information and not share it with the important individuals that need to have that information. And what that means is, in the event of life issues, they wouldn't have the information or the resources that can save that situation or even save your life. The other instance is you can actually share this information, make it accessible to those who need to have it, the trusted individuals that should have this information. And in this second instance, because you have shared the information and the right people have access to resources and information, then they are able to apply that information as needed, again, to save your life or to help the family go through what they are dealing with. Granting access is not about losing control. In fact, it is about ensuring that though you've made plans, the right people are empowered and they have the resources to effect those plans that you've made. So you've heard all of this and wondering, what should I do? What should my next moves be? Easy. Number one, you want to create a safe and centralized storage system for your documents. And then you share this location with the individuals who need to know. Next thing is you're going to create a summary for yourself and then for members of your household, just to ensure that it is quick to retrieve the information that is needed by the important professionals to help your family through that situation. And next, you are going to sign up for a digital password system, a password management vault. So you store your passwords, but you also share the password with the individuals who need to have access to the password. Having access is important when we think about continuity planning. You made the plans, now you want to ensure that those plans can be effected. And if you do not share information, nobody would know how to reach the plans that you've made. Now, as we come to the end of this video, I invite you to a special club. It's called the CRACK, the Continuity and Resilience Action Group. We are a small group of families and individuals that are cheering ourselves along the way as we work on continuity planning. We set to-dos for ourselves and goals for ourselves, and we keep track to ensuring that we are meeting those goals. We find resources together, resource professionals together that can help and that can answer questions that we have, and it's just a group that you want to be with, especially in this world of being so busy and you're drawn in several places and you just need a club or a group of people that help you stay on track to achieving your goals. So join the CRACK. And the information for that is on the website, and that's going to be www.unstrand.co/crack. And the link for that would also be in the show notes. And on a lighter note, remember the story about Mr. and Mrs. Tripp with the jammed trunk and they couldn't access it? What would you suggest that they do? Leave your comments in the section box below, because I would love to hear your thoughts on how to help Mr. and Mrs. Tripp, and also about the things we've talked about today with respect to access and accessibility and continuity planning. I am Kemi. I've enjoyed being here with you on this journey towards unstranding, and it is my delight that you just have the best times with your loved ones and you enjoy a very long, happy life. So like this video because it's been a wonderful video. Share it with other people, because preparation is not about being pessimistic. It's just about taking charge and taking control. And if you are yet to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell, so when another video is published, you get notified about it. Until the next time we meet, I wish you prosperity.